Hello, my friends. I'm Kathy Rhodes. Thank you for joining me again today. We're going to think differently. This time we're gonna think differently about overwhelm. So, what do these three things have in common? White caps, a dead truck battery, and a new beach rake. Well, they all have the same phrase in common, and it's a phrase that we used when we experienced each of these last weekend. The phrase is, let's figure it out. I laugh because I am on an adventure. I mean, seriously, I love to travel and I love adventures, and I am living one. Every single day is a new adventure. Every single week seems to be a new theme to this move that we've done. And this week's theme is let's figure it out. So here's how it started. Last Saturday, our daughter came to visit, and we were going to take her out for lunch, and we were going to take the boat to the restaurant. It's just kind of fun, right? So we get out to the lake, and let's just say the lake was a little angry last weekend. It had a little attitude. There were some waves. There were some white caps. And we got out there, and my husband's like, should we take the boat? Well, that same day, we also needed to get the boat off the lake, and we need to winterize it. We need to put it away. It's time. So there's a lot happening, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, how am I even going to get the boat off the lake? I mean, this is all brand new for all of us. And to be completely honest, I'm not invested in the boat like John is. I'm fine with it. I don't need to know how to drive it. I don't need to know anything. I'm just a passenger enjoying the ride. So I'm of no help when it comes to this. I mean, talk about pressure and accountability for my husband. So I'm like, you know what? Let's figure it out. Let's just figure it out. So we got to the boat, we got it into the water, and we kind of played around with what to do. And we're like, let's just go for a ride. Let's see what it's like out on the lake today with some waves. Well, it was fun because we got wet, and it was because of the waves. The waves came, at one point John turned the boat and the waves came splashing over and he was drenched, and it was a lot of fun. But then we got to the restaurant and we were looking for a place to tie up the boat. Wow. I mean, the docks were moving. Like, if we got off the boat and got onto the dock, we now had to walk that moving dock. We had to walk it to the shore. I don't have good balance. So it was just looking scary. So literally we were at the restaurant and we decided we're going back. We're just going to go back, and we're just going to pull the boat off the water today. Then we'll go get our car and we'll go to the restaurant that way. Because if we did dock the boat, if we did tie it up, my husband would not have enjoyed the lunch. He would have been watching the boat just kind of sway in the waves and knock against the dock, and that's stressful. So we're gonna take the boat off the water. Well, there's the next challenge. How are we gonna do that? With these waves, it was pushing us all over. And plus, John's the one who backs up the truck with the trailer, backs it up and lines it up so that we can get the boat on. Usually my boys are here and they're like in the water, and Cassie's on top of the dock, and she's holding it with a rope, and let's just say I got wet that day because somebody had to get the water and hold the boat and maneuver it onto the trailer. And yeah, I got into my knees in the water, which I never do. Thank goodness for water shoes. And the water was warm as well, so it wasn't a huge shock. But while we were waiting for John to pull up or back up the truck with the trailer, my daughter and I had to hold these ropes from the dock to keep the boat from going away, okay? From just like leaving us. Well, what started happening, the waves were coming in towards shore. So it started taking the back of the boat and pointing it. I mean, really, we were docking the boat on the beach is what was happening. This is critical because the motor was still in the water. So last minute, I had to jump on the boat and pull the motor up out of the water so it didn't get stuck in that sand. I don't have a clue how to do this. I mean, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't the perfect situation, but we didn't ruin the motor, right? We got the boat out of the water. And then we went to lunch. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Okay, so now what, right? Well, now we got to get back to the house. We got to wash off the boat before we take it in to get serviced. John actually ran some errands. He had to go pick up more stuff from the garage. He was about an hour away. So he comes back with a load full of stuff that we have to figure out where to put in the house. And then he goes up, because it's about to rain. So he goes out to the truck to roll up the windows. The battery's dead. The battery's totally dead. What? He just was driving for like 2 hours, and now the battery's dead. What are we gonna do? Let's figure it out, right? We did figure out it's truly the battery. Okay, we know how to fix a battery. It wouldn't jump, but we had to fix it. Fine, we can figure that out. Well, then also, what's the third thing that went crazy for us? Well, the third thing was actually kind of fun. Amazon arrived at our doorstep with a package, and it was this new beach rake. So think of a garden rake with the heavy tines, except much wider. And it has a floaty that goes on top with a huge long handle. I mean, this thing's huge. Well, it comes in pieces. So John walks in with this huge long box. He's like, hey, let's figure this out. He puts it together in the living room, and we were watching football. So fun football activity. Well, then he's like, okay, now what do I do? Well, you go rake the beach, right? Well, why does it have a floaty on it? And why does it have this long string? Well, what's this all about? Well, thank goodness directions come, right? Talk about figure it out. Just read the directions. The rake actually can go in the water. That's the floaty, and that's the long string. So you can rake up those weeds that start to grow within the water. It's so cool. It's so interesting. Figuring it out. I have a fun video that shows John just raking the beach. I mean, talk about therapeutic activity. It's wonderful. Like I said, that was our theme last weekend. And every time we looked out the window or opened the door, it was another activity to figure out. And I can't help but think about, I teach about attitude angles. There's 4 angles to our attitude. Okay, these angles, they all start with the letter P. Okay, so you've got the persistent angle. You've got the progressive angle, which is like a very creative type of attitude. You've got a positive angle, and you've got a problem-solving angle. All of these angles are in us, but they're not always at the same degree. Sometimes they're very weak, sometimes they're very strong, sometimes they're non-existent. We definitely had to lean into our problem-solving angle, especially over the weekend. Actually, it's continued throughout this week. Anytime we've said or thought, let's figure it out, well, we're being a problem solver, right? We're solving the challenge that's in front of us. When a challenge arises, do you focus on the problem, or do you focus on the solution? I got to admit that over the weekend, sometimes we focused on the problem. Like the dead battery in the truck, we froze and we focused on the problem. Now, when we were in the water with the boat, we were focusing on the solution. I mean, when the boat started turning towards shore, we had to focus on solutions really, really fast. So I see where we toggle, right? We toggle back and forth between where our focus is, but how we decide to respond to a challenge, how we take on that challenge, it tells a lot about us. It tells a lot about our problem-solving angle and our attitude toward the challenge that's in front of us. Is it really a problem that we want to consume our mind in a negative way? Or is it a problem that we want to figure out? We want to own the solution. Problems or challenges or opportunities, they all can create this overwhelmingness within us, right? Sometimes problems are overwhelming because of the quality of the problem, like a cancer diagnosis or a move. I mean, that's a quality issue. That's just big. It's a big deal. But sometimes also the quantity of problems can be just as overwhelming. Not only Where do you want to put this? Where do you want to hang this? Do we want to keep this or not? But also, what's for dinner? How do I start the motor of the boat? How do I move the motor up? How do I keep the boat from rolling away on us? When you have the quantity after quantity after quantity, when you finally get the boat onto the trailer and in your driveway, and then the battery of the truck is dead, and then Amazon shows up, and how do I put this together? And now how do I use it? It just keeps building and building, and it creates decision fatigue. It creates overwhelm and stress. All of this just builds up. So what can we do? What do we do when we are overwhelmed? Well, I want to say thank you to my friend Amy Porterfield. I was listening to some of her trainings this past week, and she said it perfectly. She says, when you're in the middle of overwhelm, number one, you need to neutralize it. What does that even mean? Right? We need to neutralize it. We need to take that deep breath. We need to not think of it as all negative or bad, not be Pollyanna positive, but just neutralize the situation. And here's a great example. While John and Cassie found that the battery was dead in the truck, I was actually taking a nap. So I wasn't even aware of all of this. But it was an interesting conversation, so interesting that they shared it with me. John was feeling the overwhelm, right? He was totally overwhelmed. He add the truck to the list, and actually that's what he said. He's like, add the truck to the list of things that we need to figure out, more to take care of. And then Cassie neutralized it, and Cassie said, well, should we just go get a new battery? I mean, it was Saturday early afternoon. And we do kind of live in a location where not everything's open all the time. By all means, it's not a 24/7 operations, but sometimes they shut down by noon on Saturday, right? But her simple question of, should we just go get a new battery? And John responded, like, I don't know. I don't know if this can be like recharged or fixed. I don't know. So she did some quick Googling. She's like, Dad, O'Reilly's is 12 miles away and they close at 10 o'clock tonight. Let's just go figure it out. Let's just go figure it out. Once you neutralize the problem, the second thing that Amy Porterfield taught me was get into action. If you're going to figure it out, you're going to do something. Get into action. Do the first thing that you need to do. Well, the first thing is we need to go to a car dealership or a car store that sells batteries. They took the old battery with them and they plugged it up to a little tool that tells you if the battery's good or bad, and it just flat out said bad. It had no hope. It was done for. So for $130, they bought a new battery. John knew how to install it. They got home and the truck is running. They got the windows rolled up before the rain even came in. As easy as that. As easy as that, though, froze us and paused us and overwhelmed us. Neutralize the situation and then just do the next action, the next thing that you should do. So then too, you're getting into action, you're feeling good. John had a moment where we were watching football. He put the rake together. He knew he needed to wash the boat before he took it to the place to get serviced. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to get into action. I'm just going to go do it now. So he got his power washer out and he got outside, hooked it up to the hose. It was kind of an overcast day. There was some threat of rain in the forecast. It kind of was on and off all day. No big deal. I mean, that's just what happens this time of year. I was in the house. I was doing things. And at one point I walked from my bedroom into my living room where there's a lot of windows. And the whole place lit up. I mean, this is like 3 p.m. It was already light outside, but everything got brighter. And I even stopped. I had like towels in my hand. I even stopped. I'm like, what is that? Well, as soon as I said it, this huge crack of thunder came after that lightning. And all I thought of was, John is power washing the boat. He has water and a metal wand in his hand. And it just lightninged all around us and thundered. I went running outside. I'm like, are you okay? Cassie's running after me. The dogs are running after me. And he's climbing down from the boat. And he said, God just told me it's time to be done for the day. We're done with action. We're done figuring this out. You know, when you have the metal wand in your hand and it lightnings all around you and thunders right on top of you, I think we're done for the day. I can't knock him though. He was figuring it out. I'm so proud of him. He was figuring it out. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for a lot of things. Number one, he's safe. He wasn't struck by lightning, which could have been a real thing. Number two, I'm so thankful that when he stopped for gas, when he had the truck full of our stuff from the land, that the truck didn't die at the gas station 40 miles away. I'm thankful that the truck died in our driveway. How perfect is that? I'm thankful that Cassie and I had the strength to maneuver the boat while John was backing up the trailer. I'm thankful that we were able to get it all on. I'm thankful the water was warm so that when I got in the water to figure out what to do with this boat, I was comfortable. I'm thankful we had amazing lunch without any stress, watching the boat rise and fall in the waves. I'm so thankful that we're able to figure it out, that we have the brain power to figure things out. So what's on your list? What is overwhelming you? What just keeps piling up? What problems keep accumulating? The quantity is overwhelming. Neutralize it and take that next action that you know you need to take. My friend, I'm in the same boat with you. I'm in the same boat. Let's do this together.